Welcome back to the program. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce to you a young man who has been a political activist. He's also participating in the political process, running for office in one of my greatest areas in the world, Harlem, New York, USA. Harlem, USA. His name is Craig Schley, and he's running for the 70th Assembly District there in the state of New York. Craig, good of you to join us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here, Kelly.
And it's an honor to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you about your vision, not only for Harlem, but for America, particularly given the height of things that we're going through with the racial division and, of course, the political division, and then coronavirus.
Right. So let me see if I can address those in sequence. You said actually you're talking about America, my political environment, and the racial environment. As it relates to America, look, the United States can thank Donald Trump for two things. One, he pulled the hood off of all the things that we don't like in the United States, from racism on down. And he turned the lights on all the bugs, all the things that we don't like to see. And so throughout the United States, you have the elections like here in this district that people want change, genuine change. And they're not just going for the okie doke or the same old thing is pulling the lever down for the previous person, but they're looking at new representatives with new visions. This is where I and other individuals throughout the United States are running for office and wanting change. And in this district, in the primary, you saw 28 flipped assembly seats, and we anticipate this one to be the same if everything goes our way. And so as it relates to the political environment here, we're running a good campaign. My name is Craig Schley. I'm running for the New York State Assembly. I'm an independent Democrat. I had to fight to get on there. They were opposing me. The community says, hey, we can move forward. The beautiful thing about this is that this is a so-called gentrified community. But the issue has never been who's coming into the district, is who's being forced out by the excessive development and the killing of the small businesses and what we are supporting and we're fighting for. And, we want to create targeted homes. We want to make sure that individuals who are out of formerly incarcerated have full voting rights, even those on parole. And we want to bring in a film industry supported by the federal funding by the Chamber of Commerce. These are basic condensed bullet points. As it relates to the racial context, that's kind of similar to the first issue. We are seeing ourselves in America for what we have been. It hasn't been a fair environment. It's been a racially charged environment because there's been racism that has been actually with us since the founding of this country. And it's an ill that once we get rid of it, we can move forward. But I will say that will require, I think, us to look more deeply than just the reaction we're having to it, but look at how the Constitution was set up, look at who was not involved in it initially. And then we move toward assessing what we have to do by getting the Constitution changed to reflect the country where we are today.
Yeah, and as it relates to what you're talking about in New York City, of course, has been hard hit by the coronavirus, and it's impacted so many people of color, particularly right there in Harlem, as well as Brooklyn, right, where so many people have been decimated by this virus. Do you think enough is being done in New York City, particularly in Harlem, to safeguard the Black and brown people who live in those communities?
To be a fair assessment, our governor has did a fantastic job. I'm not getting into speaking of his local politics or anything else. As it relates to this corona pandemic, our governor has done a fantastic job. As you can see, we're pretty much in good shape, but as one can be in this environment. But moving forward on the Black and brown issue, what takes precedence is that we're all in this foxhole together. And what's happening right now, what's most important to me, and that if when we win, if we win on election day, which we intend to, the first thing we have to find something in in the government that could find immediate economic aid for over the 400,000 tenants that are being kicked out of their residence because they couldn't work. And there's a 200,000 impending individuals to be kicked out of their residence. We have to find immediate funding for that. And at the same time, we have to find some just compensation for the landlords who are pressed to push them out because they need the money too. So it's for lack of a better concept, a New Deal type of thing. Maybe people may not understand that, but the government has to step in and take care of its people now with an economic stimulus. And that covers the black and white issue, and it would help a lot as far as the racial issues are concerned in this state.
You were kind of destined, I would say even before you were born, to be involved in politics or activism. Tell me about your ancestry and how it so closely mirrors what you're doing now, going out, getting involved in politics from your ancestors.
So a quick background about my ancestor. My great grandfather, which is my mother's grandfather, and she knew him. He was North Carolina's first state representative of North Carolina. Now, he was born into slavery in Dublin County in 1854. At 3 years of age, he moved with his father to farm in Hanover County, and there they farmed after slavery, after the Civil War. He was educated in a public school system. By 1884, he became North Carolina's became a North Carolina House of Representative. He served there until the 1890s, where he became Cape Fear's magistrate judge. Thereafter, in 1902, he opened a church and started ministering as an African Methodist Episcopal Church. And thereafter, he served and he died in 1932. And this brings us right here today. My sister also is an elected official in Philadelphia. She's a ward leader. My father was a Teamster rep. I remember my dad always, stopping on the side of the road for people to change tires. And I just been active in the community because of my family. And it's very important to my community that we have this type of legacy and that it continues.
Yeah, and so based on the family dynamic that you have, it's one of service. It's also one of leadership. What today is lacking in national leadership, in your opinion?
The connection to the people, or a people, and developing from that relationship comes the political representation versus money driving the political process versus the most powerful selecting the individuals to be representing a particular community. Look, I'm a blue collar man with a white collar education. I didn't go to college for the first time till I was in my 30s. I made my money off of my hands and my spine for quite a while until I went to law school and did things and worked off my mind. But as it relates to the community, that's the kind of community I'm from. We have an eclectic type of folks here. We have, I know people, addicts by name. I know doctors by name. And this foments a type of environment that say, hey, you know what? We want this to represent us. We want us to represent us. And that type of politic ought to come back into the process, and where the money should be pushed to the side, and then also having the top down pick what happens to the lower part of the political body. So that's in essence, that's what I think should be happening.
Craig, I appreciate you coming on the program and sharing your insights and your vision for Harlem as well as New York and America. Really appreciate that. And welcome to this program anytime. Win or lose, don't be a stranger to this program. Your insights are very powerful and enlightening, and your background is something that I think we need to remind ourselves of, that we are from legacies of greatness and accomplishments. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kelly.